who is a trial judge, he's not even an appellate judge, thinks he can stop international diplomacy for national security issues that involve the American people because he's a local federal judge. He's stupid.
The lawyers for the government couldn't say really who these people were.
And interesting enough, what they tried to use is they said, oh, we're looking at some of their tattoos, which means they have a gang affiliation, so they can be deported.
The tattoo of a syndicated gang, ma'am, 2 + 2 is 4. They got the thing. They have no record here. Get the out of our country. So Donald Trump's mission in this deportation situation is that he's deemed, and we may have a clip. Sean Miller explains it pretty good, but he's deemed these Valenzuela. I trained a guy on the police department named Valenzuela. Venezuelan gangs as terrorists, and they're a threat to national security. And we are at war against people invading our country. This is the perception from Donald Trump. And so he then deport these people, but a judge is arguing or needing more clarification, or he's saying that Donald Trump is violating the deportation order. Now, the media covers it in a variety of ways, but you need to be informed about it, right? Because all you have to do when you go here is look at the way the left is covering it. Look at the way the censor organizations are covering it and the right is covering it. Sometimes they all cover it fairly. A lot of times they don't. But you need to know the difference between how the left is categorizing it, the center and the right, because some of y'all parents are on the left, the center, and the right, and you need to know what they're hearing. Also, you can go up here and look at the comparison bias, which sums it up for you. So even if you don't go and read all these, you can at least get a synopsis of how people are covering it. They do it all for you right here. And this is why I love Ground.News. This is the only place where you can get a balanced perspective when you're trying to research and learn about what's going on in America, and especially what's going on with this judge and deportations to Venezuela. All right, I don't want you guys to forget about this as well. I always talk about this when I talk about Ground.News is the blind spot. So are you informed even when the Republicans are not writing about it? Let me just give you 2 examples right here. Woman who had sought protection from deportation in Colorado church is detained. Republicans aren't talking about this for whatever reason. We should be. Republican Ana Paulina Luna rips Daily Beast nasty headline taking reported exchange with Donald Trump out of context. The left is not talking about this. Why are they not talking about this? If you're on the left, you should be paying attention to this side. If you're on the right, you should be paying attention to this side. So make sure you guys subscribe through my link at ground.news/Tatum or download the mobile app and use offer code Tatum for 40% off the unlimited Vantage plan to see through media bias and stay informed. Let's put Sean Miller on because I think he can articulate this better working for the White House. Roller clip. Not Sean Miller. What's his name? Stephen Miller. Say Sean Miller. Stephen Miller. Roll a clip.
So you called the judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy itself. Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order, and might you ignore future court orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of this country, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the President the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere with, to enjoin, to restrict, or to restrain any way. You can read the law yourself. There's not one clause in that law that makes it subject to judicial review, let alone district court review.
When you say that this person has no authority at all, this is how our system works. It starts with these judges and then continues up. At what point does it become, in your view, legal for the justice system to be looking at this and making a judgment? And I fail to see how there's any other way but to start with where we're starting here before you get to eventually the Supreme Court.
Well, so first of all, there's a term in law, justiciable. This is not justiciable. In other words, this is not subject to judicial remedy. When the president is exercising his Article 2 powers to defend the country against an invasion or to repel a foreign terrorist that is unlawfully in the country, he's exercising his core Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief.
Is Venezuela invading the U.S.?
This is a very important point. This is a Title 50 authority. It's a commander-in-chief authority. So just to ask you a simple question, you talk about how the system works. Does a district court judge have the right to direct or enjoin troop movements overseas? Yes or no?
Well, Stephen, my question.
Well, no.
If you could answer my question first.
In other words,
is Venezuela invading our country in a way that would apply this way?
So I'll answer yours, and you'll answer mine. Under the terms of the statute, Tren de Aragua is an alien enemy force that has come here as detailed at length in the proclamation at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by a foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be, yes, it is documented that TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy? The president and the president alone makes a decision of what triggers that determination.
So do you then think
in
we
statute.
are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation-state of Venezuela?
You're not hearing me, and you're not understanding me. Read the statute. Alien Enemies Act, 1798. It says if a predatory incursion is perpetrated by a foreign government, so it lists three qualifying actions. It could be an act of war.
It does say in the very beginning there has to be a declared war against a nation or a state. That's what it says.
No, wrong. Look up the statute. It's on my account on social media.
That's actually where we
Everyone can
found
go
it
see Yes. It says, or a predatory incursion, or an invasion. The statute delineates three criteria for triggering the Alien Enemies Act. One is an act of war, which, by the way, an invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all three statutory criteria. But with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion language in the statute.
But
this is a very important question. Because no.
Hold on. I can't handle this beatdown. She getting her head whooped. Go back just a little bit, because I want to show people on the screen what he was saying, because CNN, stop right here, perfect. CNN challenged this man about this, which they found on his social media, and they completely misread what they claim they found on his social media. You can't see this, but I can see it. It does say very clearly what he said, right? It says that whenever there shall be a declared war between the United States and a foreign nation or government, or any invasion or predatory incursion. It's an or, and an or. And he said it very clearly. They put it up on the screen. What are they arguing with this man about? And I don't know why they picked him to argue with, because they clearly don't know that this guy's probably the smartest man in America. Roll the clip.
Put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all three statutory criteria. But with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion language in the statute. But this is a very important question, because no, hold on. You said the way our system works is the President of the United States commands the armed forces of the country, commands the foreign policy of the country, and that's subject to district court review. That is fundamentally untrue.
I never said that, Stephen. I did not say.
That has never been true.
This was not a military operation.
A district court judge can no more enjoin the expulsion of foreign terrorists to foreign soil that he can direct the movement of Air Force One, that he can direct the movement of an aircraft carrier, then he can direct Marco Rubio to engage in diplomacy in a country or not.
Do you think the Supreme Court has any say over this or not? Does the Supreme Court of the United States have any say over the things that you were just outlining right here?
I believe what the Supreme Court will say is what I just said, which is that the president's conduct here is not subject to judicial review.
Okay, but you are acknowledging that they do, in fact, have a say here, even though you think they may agree with you.
What we are expecting is the Supreme Court to say what has always been the case, which is when the president is using his powers as commander-in-chief, those determinations are not subject to judicial review. The president's designation of Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization and as an alien enemy are part of his inherent plenary authority. There's
So
no way.
at what point in the
there's
system,
no way.
Stephen,
How are you
do
going
the
to
courts
expel?
gain
Hold
power?
on. How are you going to expel illegal alien invaders from our country who are raping little girls, who are murdering little girls, if each and every deportation has to be adjudicated in a district court judge? That means you have no country. It means you have no sovereignty. It means you have no future.
I thought Candace Owens was the last person I'd want to debate. I think Stephen is the last person I want to debate. He just wiped the floor with that CNN host. He just wiped the floor. And the reason why they're wiping the floor with these people is because they're so arrogant and pompous enough to argue with a man for no reason. They should be bringing him on to explain what Donald Trump is doing, not to try to detract from what Donald Trump is doing or try to get a gotcha moment of what Donald Trump is doing. And I ain't never seen nobody get whooped like that on TV. Maybe just hold the phone, because I think Scott Jennings got to, he hold my beer, okay? Hold my Irish whiskey. That was yesterday. All right, let's talk about other outrage that has gone on in the media, because I think Scott Jennings had a thought on this that I think was really, really good. I think Judge Jeanine Piro, that was really good what she had to say. And I think Tim Burchett, I think it's how you say that, Tim Burchett also has something to do, or has something to say that I think is invaluable for us to hear. Roll the clip.
Well, I think a few things. Number one, we've had a number of instances now on immigration and other matters where individuals trying to effectively substitute their judgment for that of what the White House believes is core function of the presidency as designated by the Constitution. That's a key question and probably needs to be sorted out by the Supreme Court someday. That's number one. Number two, on the issue of these deportations, it's quite clear the president believes he is keeping the United States and its citizens safe from non-citizens who are in the country illegally, first of all, and second of all, who have a long history of committing very, very violent acts, from murder to rape to sex trafficking and so on.
Don't you think they have to prove that, though? Because, I mean, I think I don't think anybody disagrees about their ability to deport people who are murderers or rapists or whatever, but don't they have to actually prove that those people are who they say they are and that they've carried out those acts of those criminal acts?
Well, we know they're violent people because...
How do we know?
Because their records have already been pulled. I mean, these people were violent.
I think that the court,
from where they came from, and now they're here illegally. So
one of the things that happened in court
know who
today,
they are?
well, that's what I'm saying.
Have
One
they
of the
even
things
given
that
us their
happened
identity?
in the court today is that the lawyers for the government couldn't say really who these people were.
And interesting enough, what they tried to use is they said, oh, we're looking at some of their tattoos, which means they have a gang affiliation, so they can be deported. It's a slippery slope that we don't want to open up.
But they're illegal
and that's why we have
immigrants,
a process for everything.
But they're illegal immigrants, yes?
So actually, again,
we don't know
the state of affairs.
Hold on a
They're
second.
saying
Hold
they're
on a
bad
second.
people,
Hold on a
so
second.
they can get out of here.
it would be fine.
We do know they're illegal aliens. That's a very easy background check that you can do on the spot. You run their name through the system. They don't have a social security number. They're not a citizen of this country. It's easy. You can do a citizenship check. We used to do it all the time with SB 1070. We do a citizenship check. All we have to do is run their name and all the information, because these idiots don't have not all of them are idiots, but I'm saying the ones who are criminals, I call them idiots. They don't have a social security number. So when you talk to them, they don't speak English. That's one sign that you can't speak no English at all. Then you get an interpreter to talk to them. They have no social security number. They don't even know their date of birth. They have none of this information. So what do? We take the information that we have available to us, whether they give us a name, and then we run that through a system with a couple identifying markers. And if that person doesn't show up with any record, they're not a citizen. It's clear. Not only just the stuff that we can see and that they can't produce on the spot, but because they have no record in the country, they're not a citizen. And then if they got a tattoo of a syndicated gang, this Venezuelan gang, then, ma'am, 2 + 2 is 4. They got the thing. They have no record here. Get out of our country. The end. We don't need to litigate. We don't need to see, is that real ink? Did he get that in Venezuela or did he get it in America? Did he really mean it, or he's just trying to show solidarity with? No, man, get out of here. Why do we even question this stuff? It's very clear to me. You either have citizenship or you don't. If you don't, there's no record of you. You got gang tattoos, you gone. The end. Roll the clip.
It's
we
all,
knew that, but we
and
don't
the
know.
quote is it's all fun until
But-
the rapper
but-
has the gun, right? What if somebody turns that on one of us or
Well,
anybody
we're citizens.
else?
They're not citizens.
But there's people who are here.
Let's go back. I want to see Scott Jennings' face. Scott Jennings, I don't know this is what I was thinking about earlier, y'all. I was like, the Lord, this is Scott Jennings' time. I never heard of Scott Jennings before. And watching his influence and impact on CNN is something to see. I mean, this guy literally is the best person that they could have ever picked to get on CNN and to give an opposing view. He's smart, he's quick, he has his facts. It is insane how he's just dismantling them. I would say this, if he was black, it'd be even worse for CNN because they can write him off as, oh, he's a Trump supporting racist white guy. He's out of touch. He can't talk about black issues. See, because the way they do this is that black people can talk about white issues, but white people can't talk about black issues. So Scott Jennings can't, they dismiss him when it comes to black stuff that go on. But then the black guy they got on here, the milk dud, lollipop head, they got him on here. Don't he look like, remember that movie with the Martians or something like that? The little aliens that came down? That's what he looked like. Like an alien with that big old head. Anyway, that's no here nor there. But they have a black guy like that talk about white issues. So that's what I'm saying. If he was black, it'd be worse for them. But I think that he is doing such an incredible job. And I feel like God has called him to be in this position or set him up for this position to change America forever. I'm telling you, like people that's watching CNN, they may hate him, but they cannot deny that the stuff he's saying is just like common sense. Common sense. Are they illegal or not? And they can't answer a simple question. I think people are on to it. Let's go to Judge Jeanine Piro and see what she has to say. Roll it.
Got to be careful. I mean, if you watch The View, they could pick any one of us and send us out. Look, they are so not aware of what's going on. Trinidad Aragua has been declared a foreign terrorist organization. As a result of that, there is an argument under the 1798 statute that has been the Alien Enemies Act that has been used 3 times that they are a group that is actually involved with the Venezuelan government and the El Salvadoran government, and therefore they can be deported. Now, aside from the Alien Enemies Act, they are illegal. They are committing crimes, okay? We do not have to have them convicted of a crime to remove them. But the argument that the administration is making, which I think is brilliant, is this. They are saying that under Article 2 of the Constitution, the president has the authority to engage in foreign policy. And the president and Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, have been engaging in foreign policy with Berkeley as well as Maduro. And they have worked out an arrangement where Berkeley is taking these TDA members for $6 million, and a local judge, make no mistake, this is a local judge, folks, who is a trial judge. He's not even an appellate judge, thinks he can stop international diplomacy for national security issues that involve the American people because he's a local federal judge. He's stupid. And let me tell you one more thing. Trinidad Aragua and MS-16. These people are savages. I used to prosecute them as a DA. They are brutal, medieval, barbaristic savages, and they should be removed from this country immediately without any explanation. And if the Democrats want to take the side of these savages, let them. But the truth is Donald Trump is protecting the Democrat big cities and the people who live in them.
Dana, it looks like there was 261 sent out, 100.
Judge Jeanine. Does that make sense to you guys? Yes. I don't know why anybody would even argue with these people. Donald Trump reserved the right as the president of the United States to deem that these people are a threat. He's the commander in chief. He is the leader of the military. He is responsible for protecting the border. All of these agencies are underneath Donald Trump, especially our military and enforcement agencies. They're under the executive branch. I don't understand how in the world are we somehow questioning Donald Trump saying, and this is where I think Democrats make a mistake to a certain degree. The brain dead, soy milk eating, drinking son of a guns, they of course are going to have a problem with anything Trump does. But the average American person that somehow glimpses or gets a glimpse of some of these things, they will see that that's kind of crazy for them to be complaining about Donald Trump getting violent, barbaric criminals out of the country. Like, why are we trying to blocking them? Does what? We want them to stay in the country, and we want to take them through a court proceeding. Why? They're illegal. We want to spend taxpayer dollar, put other trials on delay to fool around with people that shouldn't even be here in the first place. Is that the way we want to spend our money? Is that the hill y'all want to die on? Let's go to the next clip of, I don't know if it's Burkett or Burchett. I think it's Burkett, but y'all know I can't read half the time, so I don't know what it is. Somebody give me the phonetics of it in the comment section. Roll the clip.
But so no matter what a judge
he's taking the side of a bunch of criminals.
He hasn't taken any side yet. Congressman, he hasn't taken any side yet. All he's done is put a stay on the White House action here so that he can review their use of their novel use, frankly, of the Alien Enemies
Oh, come
Act.
on. These guys, listen. These guys, the difference between God and these judges is God knows he's not one of these judges. They're arrogant. They practice this type of thing all the time. And if you had a conservative one doing it, you all would be raising total hell. But because it's a left-winger and it's standing and you all take that side.
This isn't a question about the media. This isn't a question about the media. No one's taking a side here. Congressman,
yes,
no one's taking a side here.
He is not.
I'm asking you about the Constitution. Is asking about the Constitution. Is asking about the Constitution taking a side. All I'm asking you is about the Constitution, what you think of it, and what you would advise this White House and your feeling about judicial rulings. And that seems to be upsetting you. I'm just trying to get your position on this and what you would advise the White House going forward.
It's not upsetting. I guess what upsets me is that you all at CNN continuously take the side of the far left, and that's why your ratings continue to plummet. And I do not ever understand why y'all do that. Every time. I know you got to take the opposite side on everything, but you all are wrong on this one. Listen, this is a gang that took over an apartment complex in Colorado. They murdered people. They are criminals.
We're trying to understand.
Now,
you can
criminals.
argue.
They are not
You
American
can argue.
citizens. Quit taking
You
their
can,
side,
Congressman.
What
Can
is
you?
wrong with you all?
Congressman?
You are so out of touch with what 85% of this country
Congressman?
does not support what you are spewing out right now.
We haven't
And this judge is
spewed. The
complete
only one
overreach.
spewing
He's
is the
an
guy who's
activist.
talking uninterrupted right now.
How long does it take him to review this stuff? How long does it take him to review this stuff? These judges, he'll sit on his ass for months so these criminals can stay in this country. This is all this is. This is overreach. And I'll guarantee you, if his kids had been murdered or raped, as has happened in this country to several American citizens by these thugs, that he would be taking a different position. But he's protected. You all protect him. You all have got to come off this. Seriously, I don't know how you all sleep at night when you protect criminals, murderers,
Congressman,
and
rapists. Can I ask you to stop for 1 second here? I think if
I
you
love
go
this
through
guy.
and
Who is this
analyze
guy?
the questions.
I love this guy. I ain't never heard of that guy. Have y'all heard of that senator before from Tennessee? Oh, he's a congressman. Yeah, he's definitely not a senator because I've never seen him before. I've never even heard him before. Have you heard of him, Nick? I never heard of the guy. But I like his style. Call these people on the carpet for what they doing. Why are y'all protecting illegal aliens? What are y'all doing? I saw that Donald Trump had made some executive decision to do something the other day, and I was like, it's so crazy that we even have that as an option in America. What are y'all doing? Can we wake up for a minute, America? Like, what are y'all doing? We're regressing mentally in this country. I felt like we used to be smarter than this. Like, why are we arguing should a man be able to transition and beat the brakes off women in sports? Why is that even an argument? How is that fair? I'm arguing with one of them trannies at the thing. Let me not say tranny. I don't want to be disrespectful because I don't dislike people who do this. I just don't like the ones who crazy. But this transgender person gets up and argues with me about how it is fair and what do you think kids should do? We're only less than 1% of the population. Why do we? That's exactly why you shouldn't let less than 1% of the population have the mass rule over who gets to play in sports. 1% get to dictate what every woman do in sports. 1% wins 90% of the medals that they involved in. Like, what are y'all doing? It's the same thing about the government, man. We got all these illegals in our country, man. Get to send them home, bro. Take some of our money, go into a little bit of debt if you have to get them out of here. I was at the campus. I'm gonna send all this video out. I was at the campus and the dude was like, because once I proved the point that Donald Trump and them are finding money, when I say Donald Trump, I mean Doge, and people don't know this, that Doge can't fire anybody. They can make recommendations. They can't change the budget of any of these organizations. They can just make recommendations. And many recommendations that they make, you'll be a fool to say, no, I want to keep blowing people's money. Okay. But regardless of that, they're finding all this fraud and all this stuff. And the guy go, I don't care, because criminal justice reform is, I say, you must don't pay taxes. I do pay taxes, but I didn't vote. I say, why are you even talking to me? If you didn't vote, get away from the mic. If you're not voting, why are you even talking to me about politics? But regardless, he gets up there and say, I don't care. Well, I do care. I do care what they do with my money. I don't care if they save 3 pennies. Save 3 pennies of the money that you're extracting from people. It makes me upset that they think they can do this with our hard-earned money. I'm telling you, y'all, this stuff that Doge is finding, what the government is doing with our money, it makes me so mad. And I think people should go to prison for life for what they've done to the American people's money. You're just blowing our money that we're never going to get back ever again. We're putting all this money into taxes. People struggling to pay taxes. And then y'all just throw our money away. The taxes that one American has spent their entire life paying, which could be like $40,000 I mean, it could be more than that. I mean, $400,000 a tax. No, that's 100 years. Let's say a person spent about $100,000 in taxes over their lifespan. They fart that away in one DEI experiment on transgender frogs or something. Blow that you could have had $100,000 in your life, but they blew it on transgender frog research. I'm making it up. It ain't no transgender frog research, but they do stuff like that. Your whole life worth of taxes, they blow it in 30 seconds. Half of the people in the country, let me just tell you why it bothers me so much. I'm a business owner, and I look at that bank account, and I look at that money going in, that money going out. And there's sometimes that money going out, and I'm like, where is my money going? Where is my money at? I get we spending that much on that? What are we doing? That's how I feel about my little money. Now the government is throwing trillions. Where the money at? We don't have no receivables. We don't have any documentation. We don't know where the money at. Well, where did y'all send $40 billion to? Or $40 million? Oh, we didn't mark it as it's unlisted. What? I mean, I think the business owners that are listening to me understand the outrageousness and the audacity of our government. Oh, we haven't passed audit in 6 years. What? What do you mean you haven't passed audit? Who is being held responsible for you not passing audit? Because if your business don't pass an audit, you are, just so you know, if the IRS come after you because your debt numbers are crazy, you owe the IRS money, you can go to jail, garnishing your wages. Oh, Jesus of Nazareth, the Nazarene, help us.